Hi, I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're working on these little fun pumpkin earrings. These are really great for the fall season. You can wear them for Halloween, you can wear them for Thanksgiving. They're really simple to make, so we're going to get busy and show you how. To make our little pumpkin earrings, I just love these. I think they're so cute. We're going to use our little pumpkin mold, and these are all three the same little mold, so you can make more than one at a time. And we're going to be starting with QuikWood. And the first thing I'm going to do is spray my hands with vegetable oil. You should take off all your jewelry because rock hard is rock hard in your jewelry. And sometimes the hardest part of the QuikWood is cutting a small amount, so we don't need too big of an amount here. I'm going to remove my silver part of my QuikWood. I'm going to cut a small amount I think I need just for my earrings. Squish this back on, place that back on, and seal it back up. There are instructions on there that you need to follow. This is going to get rock hard in 1 hour. We have about 30 minutes workable time on our pumpkins, and what activates it is kneading it together. You will see it go from two marble colors to one solid color, and it should kind of be warm to the touch. We do sell QuikWood at miriamjoy.com, so you can pick it up there. And so we've got that pretty kneaded. I can feel it start to get warm in my hands. So I'm going to take my vegetable spray and we're going to put it into our pumpkins. You want to really spread that around inside the pumpkins. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little piece of this and you're going to really push it into the mold. You want to get that really well, and then that top part that's extra we're going to slide off because you do not want that to push out on the sides. Now make sure we get that going up into his little stem. Now if we weren't going to color it with the perfect pearls, we could leave this and let it dry and then take it out and paint it with acrylic paint, and you may like that better. That's totally up to you. The one thing that I am going to do is wipe the excess vegetable oil off the top so that that is kind of gone, and that so that your clay sticks to your QuikWood instead of sliding off of it. Now I'm using a piece of packing tape, and I'm just pressing that gently onto my mold, and I'm going to push my pumpkin out. Sometimes it sticks better. These are deeper molds because there's a lot of detail in these guys, and so it may take a little bit of getting used to, and you saw how I really turned that, but isn't that really awesome? So we've got that separate, and I did these all at 3 at one time the first time I did it. And the reason I don't want to do that is because I want to be able to work with them a little bit more, and it's easier to do when I have them separate on the piece of tape instead of all together. I can turn it around and get my colors applied more evenly. And we're going to go ahead and do our second one. I probably have enough for 3. You can do the third one and make a necklace. You could put like an eye pin in it, or I make my own out of wire, and just make a hook so you could hook it to a necklace, so that would make a nice cute little necklace as well, and you could use it for a gift if you wanted. And so we're going to do this one more time, and I want you to kind of watch how I'll try to do it this way. I kind of bend this to get that out, and the better it's sticking to the tape, the easier that comes out. And don't be afraid to wad it all up in a ball and do it again if it doesn't do it. This one is sticking in the mold a little bit more than my other one did. I probably need a little bit more vegetable spray. I think, I'm not quite sure if I have enough for another one or not. Let's see here. Not quite. I'm just going to leave him in there. Let him dry. I'm just going to try and get a pumpkin, not so much the leaf. So there's always, if you have a little mold that you can use and put your extra into, that's really great. So normally I would give these about 15 minutes to dry while they're still wet, but not as bendable, because you don't really want to push a lot on these. So that's kind of my theory to this. But for this, I'm going to be using the Pearl X pigment powders. This is pumpkin orange. I've got a brown, and I've got emerald green and a gold. And you can buy these at your scrapbook section or Blue Whale Arts with an S.com is a great place where she helps me out. She gets supplies that I may be doing videos on. For my brushes, I like to use, these are actually ones that are made just for this that come in a package. A mop brush, and then a little bit of a, what do I want to say, a round brush. But old brushes work well as well, in ones that you wouldn't normally be using for something else you can use for this. So we're going to start by coloring our stem with the brown. And never go straight from your pigment powders to your project. Always knock it off on the lid, because there is always more pigment powder and it's very loose and it needs to break off, otherwise you'll just have powder everywhere. So that's something to think about. Now this, I am noticing, is a little bit too soft, so I am going to let mine sit for about another 10 minutes. And the reason is to get them hard enough but not so dry that they start to dry up that we can't get our pigment powder on them. So I've given these guys a little bit of time to dry, so they should not be as delicate and wiggle anymore. I'm going to go ahead and paint the stem of the pumpkin. And again, if you would rather do these with acrylic paint, then do them with acrylic paint. There is no right or wrong on these. And then I'm going to do my leaves. I'm going to do it with the emerald. And pounce that off. And we're just going to put this on our leaves. If for some reason you got this too dry, spray it with a little bit of vegetable oil, not a whole lot. You might even be able to wipe it off a little bit. What I want to try and do with this one though is I want to try and get all the sides, and I need to go back and get the sides of my pumpkin. I can already see that. And try and get them covered. I do not like to paint 3D items, dimensional items. I find this so much easier than trying to do it with acrylic, but again, that's a personal opinion. So, alright, so we've got that guy's stem and his leaf. Trying to get unstuck from the tape is the funnest part here so far. So I'm going to check this guy on both sides. Yeah, I got him better. So let's go ahead and get his leaf done. And we'll start on the sides, work our way to the top, and now you can kind of see why I wanted to just use one piece of tape for each one, because it's so much harder when you're doing it. Another thing I like to do the leaf before the pumpkin. So if I get some of the green down on the pumpkin, I can cover it up. It's not a big deal. I kind of did that with my leaf in the brown there too as well. So that's something to kind of think about. So we're going to come in and finish our pumpkin now. And this is going so fast, isn't it? I mean, we're almost done. And then we're going to let it dry. And we're just going to paint one line in between the pumpkins with acrylic paint. That's it. That's all we got to do. But you could use a bronze color, you could use an orange color. It doesn't have to be the pumpkin color. You might like a gold or yellow of some color as well. But that extra line is really going to help brighten that up when we're done here. So tap in a little bit more. You can see how that really holds on to that brush. Okay, let those dry for just a little bit, and I'm going to add my line to them. Okay, I'm coming back with my orange acrylic paint. I'm just going to use my liner brush, water down it just enough that I can apply it on smoothly. And we're just going to use it and come in between these little, and I'm not sure if I've got my hand in the way or not, these little ridges. And I'm trying to use orange to make my pumpkin oranger. If you want to go more brown, you could use like a terracotta or a pueblo. But it's not fancy, it's just simple. And we're just going to get this all done here. So see how much oranger that really makes our pumpkin. And that's all the acrylic painting that we're going to do to it. You could do a little bit fancier. One thing I did do on my last one that I didn't do on this one is I took a little bit of gold pigment powder and I hit my leaves just a little bit just to give it kind of a highlight. So that's something to think about as well. You're going to let these dry, finish drying all the way, and you're going to use your flat earring backings, and these are just flat on the back, and you're just going to glue them on with your E6000. If you want to put some color on the back of those, then put that on with acrylic paint. There is no right or wrong. Once you put your E6000 on, they tell you to let those dry 24 hours. They don't need quite that long, but that's a good amount so that you're not tempted to touch them. But before you put the backing on, spray varnish them. That's going to keep all of this stuff in place. I would do a light coat in the beginning, and I would use satin or matte. I wouldn't use a gloss, but again, that's a personal opinion. You might like the gloss better, especially for jewelry. Start with a light coat and then put a couple of heavier coats on because they're going to be worn. But those are just darling. Those are going to make some great holiday earrings for you to wear. Wasn't that quick and easy? And you can make them for lots of different people and give them as gifts. So that's a really nice thing. You could also use them for different craft ideas. Make sure you order your mold. You can also order the QuikWood at miriamjoy.com. Thank you. Have a fun and safe fall.